because Bennett was like going into the boys' bathroom to try and see where they were, you know? But then somehow they ended up downstairs. Bennett tried to shoot her shot. She tried so hard.
Oh, Bennett tried to be the wingman for Madeline.
I never did that for any of my sisters. Nope. Just saying. Or
Isaac.
Mason. Well, maybe for Mason. Probably not for Mason.
And like, yeah, so Madeline tried so hard. So far she's seen 7, which is pretty good. I say keep track of airflow guys too.
All right. So what happened to Harrison?
His leg is cancer.
His leg had bone cancer on it,
Oh yeah, he's amputee.
and his leg has been amputated. Is Harrison really talking to anybody?
No.
No, Harrison doesn't want to talk to anybody. He doesn't really want to see anybody. But then Major Bauer arrived. Do you remember who Major Bauer was?
Nope. Mr. Brower's
I don't-
father.
Oh yeah, it was Major Bauer. I don't know what he does though.
There was like just a mention of him. I don't know if they said his name though, but there was a picture of somebody that was in the service with Coach. So Coach is a veteran, and there was somebody in the service with him, and his name was Major Brower. No, Major Bauer. Guys put Brower in my head. Now I can't read right. Okay. Coach nearly jumped out of his chair. The Major had to brace up when Coach threw himself into the old soldier's arm. They patted each other's backs the way a cowboy might thump his horse's neck. His mom stood. Kirk! The Major hugged them both. Major Bauer looked older than in his picture. His hair had begun to turn gray, his beard was gone, and his tan face wrinkled at the corners of his dark eyes and mouth. He stood straight and tall, though, and when he finished greeting Harrison's parents with kisses and hugs, he marched up to the side of Harrison's bed and held out his hand. Even in his miserable state, Harrison couldn't refuse the iron grip. Despite his serious face, Major Brower's deep, dark eyes brimmed with kindness. I heard I'm needed. The Major looked around the room, and his eyes came to rest on the stump that was once Harrison's leg. And I see that I am. Harrison shifted in his bed and reached down to the itch the missing leg. Suddenly, it felt like his leg, from the knee to his foot, was being crushed, stabbed, and burned at the same time. Harrison cried out and reached for the missing limb. The pain ripped a hole in his pride, and he wailed for it to go away. Have you ever heard of amputees when they lose something and then they feel it? It's called phantom pains. Yeah. As the wave passed, Harrison was surprised to realize it was Major Bauer holding him and not his mom. His grip was as gentle as it was strong. It'll pass, the Major spoke soft as a nurse. It'll pass. Finally, Harrison's heart slowed. There, the Major said, releasing him. Phantom pains. The nerves will fire like your leg's still there. Nothing quite like it. Trust me, I know. Harrison tilted his head at the old soldier. Major Bauer smiled, stood, and tugged at his left pant leg. A chrome joint gleamed just above the shoe. Jutting straight up from that was a shiny, thick metal rod. Harrison thought of a magician he'd seen on TV, an illusionist, but the leg really was metal. The latest and greatest. Major Bauer pulled his pant leg all the way up to the knee, showing off a chrome piston and yet another shiny joint. Yours will look a lot different. You're lucky. There's a lot more you can do with what you've got. Do when you've got an upper leg. Excuse me, rude people don't know that I'm teaching. Ugh. The Major winked at him and dropped the pant leg. Harrison's spirits were lifted by the sight of the soldier. He was strong and handsome, and he moved through the world as if nothing was missing. Then Harrison thought of what his life had been for a brief couple of months, his life as an athlete, a football player. His face fell, and he looked away. Hey, his mom said, the Major is talking to you. Won't be the first young man to look away from me. The Major's voice was soothing as he spoke to Harrison's mom. Harrison, will you look at me? Harrison couldn't resist. You can come back from this, the Major said. I know you're pitting yourself right now. Next, you'll get depressed, then angry, but it'll all pass. It will. I've seen it many times, and I've lived it myself. I can't come back and play. Harrison glared up at Major Bauer. Play? I'm a football player. They said I was unstoppable. Harrison ground his teeth together. Football? Major Bauer put a hand to his chin. I don't know, but let me show you something, okay? Harrison just stared. Major Bauer had a shoulder bag Harrison hadn't even noticed. The old soldier set it down on the windowsill, then removed an iPad and switched it on. He fiddled with the screen for a few moments, then held it for Harrison to see. Harrison studied the picture of a man in a ski cap, red jacket, white winter gloves, and dark blue sweatpants running down a desert highway. Beyond him lay low hills spotted with scrub brush beneath a pale and empty sky. Protruding from the cut-off end of his right pant leg was a chrome football-shaped thigh and a mechanical knee and a yellow shock absorber for a shin. The man's young face looked strong and determined. Who's that? Harrison asked. Jeff Keith, the first above-the-knee amputee to run across America. Run? San Francisco to Providence, 3,400 miles. How? Harrison stared at the picture. He just did. Here, look at this. Major Bauer's fingers scrolled through his iPad before he showed Harrison another picture. Is that him? Harrison studied the old newspaper photo of a young man playing goalie in a lacrosse game. Across his chest, it said Boston College. His legs were covered in baggy cotton sweatpants, but Harrison could tell the right one was stiff and unnatural. It's not urgent. It's just people not understanding. If it was urgent, I would know who they were. It's spam, yeah. It's Pam. Okay. That was with a wooden leg. A Division I college athlete lost his leg like you, only a year younger when he was 12. Also bone cancer like you. Look at this quote. I love this quote. Believe in the incredible and you can achieve the impossible. Harrison huffed impatiently. It's not football. Major Bauer took the iPad back. Yeah, look at this. This time, he handed Harrison the picture of a football player in an electric blue uniform with one leg in the air, marching in on a high step toward the camera. There's nothing wrong with him, Harrison said, except his lower right leg is missing. Harrison looked closer. His name is Neil Perry. He played for San Jose State. Major Bauer sat down on the side of the bed and put a hand on Harrison's shoulder. I'm not making any promises, Harrison, but I want you to know you're not alone. And some of the people who are like you have done some amazing things. The technology gets better every year. Maybe you can do what they did, or maybe you can do more. Harrison looked back at the football player. Major Bauer reached over and scrolled through the other pictures too. It was like an escape hatch. Suddenly, in the dark, crushing flood inside his submarine, a light appeared. It was like Major Bauer was thrusting a life jacket at him, something that would propel him up out of the darkness and the dead floating bodies to the surface above, to light and air. Harrison grabbed hold.